I'm Rob Skinner, and this is the Rob Skinner Podcast. I'm sharing today from one of my favorite scriptures, and that is Jeremiah chapter 32, verse 39, which says, I will give them singleness of heart and action, so that they will always fear me for their own good and the good of their children after them. Listen as I talk today about the power of focus. All this and more on the Rob Skinner Podcast. Welcome back to the Rob Skinner Podcast. I'm actually filming this from in front of the Boston Common. I can look out here and see the Boston Common there. It's a really, really nice place. And my goal is to inspire you to live a no regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. When I was nearing graduation from high school, I woke up one day and I realized, oh, I don't have a plan for college. I know this is crazy, but I had a good time in high school. I wrestled, I joined clubs, I served in student government, and I finished with a solid B average. It was nothing great. It was not really amazing at all. And I got a couple C's in chemistry. I got C's in algebra too. And I never really thought, I know this sounds funny, but never really thought much about what's going to happen after high school. I assumed I'd go to college, but that was just kind of something kind of very vague. And when I finally started looking at my options, which was like my final semester of my senior year, I realized I could go to college, like a state school, like Sacramento State or Chico State, or I could stay home, attend Sierra College, which was a junior college or community college, and try to transfer to a university like UC Berkeley, which was kind of like a super stretch. And I knew that there's no way I could get into UC Berkeley or a real top level school straight out with my grades. It was just so mediocre and just average. It wasn't bad. I wasn't a bad student, but I wasn't great either. I was just, I guess, B's above average, but not really. Anyway, I decided when I graduated, I'm going to go to UC Berkeley. And so that was a good goal, but that meant humbling myself. All my friends were heading off to universities. They had done a way better job of organizing, planning, preparing, getting ready for that. And they were going to different places. They were going to different schools. I was commuting to junior college. Took me about 35 minutes to drive from Nevada City, where I lived, down to Rockland, California, where Sierra College was located. And I remember that summer or the spring of my senior year, I had a dream. It was actually a nightmare. And in my dream, my mom and I, we were going down an escalator. And on the other side, on the up escalator, all my friends were going up. Now, it doesn't take like Freud to figure out, okay, what's the dream analysis on that? Here I am going down the escalator. All my friends are going up. And I just remember waking up going, oh my gosh, I'm going downhill. We passed each other in the middle on that escalator. And that's exactly how I felt like my life was going. At that low point, something really clicked. I don't know what it was. I just got determined. And so the first week of my freshman year at Sierra College, so junior college, I walked into the guidance counselor's office and I said, what do I need to do to go to UC Berkeley's business school? That was the upper division, junior and senior year business school. And she looked at me and she paused and she said, well, you need to get straight A's from now on. You can't get any B's. Now, I'd never in my life done that before. I wasn't a person that paid too much attention to my grades, but for the first time in my life, I got laser focused. I studied, I worked, I refused to accept anything less than an A. At the end of my last semester of my sophomore year there at the junior college, I saw a B in English in my English class on my report card. And so I'm like, nope, that can't happen. So I ran to my professor's office and I said, hey, sir, there's got to be some mistake. And so this professor was a guy that he rode his bicycle, his 10 speed to class. He wore like um corduroy jackets. Yeah. He looked like kind of like Einstein, a little bit hair is muscle. His office was a disaster, just piled high with papers. And he's like the absent-minded professor. Super nice guy, but just totally like classic absent-minded professor. And so he just starts digging through these papers and then he pulls out a sheet of paper and goes, oh, what's this? And he pulls out an essay of mine that he hadn't graded. And so he grades it on the spot, changes my B to an A. And that semester I finished with straight A's. And so I was like, whew, that was really, really close. And so I applied to UC Berkeley, but then guess what? Okay, there was something they said, oh, you're missing, these two classes. So then all of a sudden I had to scramble and get two more classes before I got in that fall. And luckily they had a 2-week summer class that would give me two credits in two different areas. One was in history and the other was natural science or something like that. We just went out and these professors lectured in the Sierra Nevada wilderness for 2 weeks. I got credit just at the last minute. I mean, I was desperate. I was going to do anything to get into UC Berkeley. So finally I applied, I got in, and that experience taught me something really life-changing. Focus opens doors. Focus opens doors. In Jeremiah 32 and verse 39, as I read at the beginning, it says, I will give them singleness of heart and action. And that's what I experienced. When I stopped dabbling and started focusing, everything changed for me. I just got super focused. God wants us to give him that same kind of focus, a unified heart and consistent action, not scattered, not distracted or divided. And look what he says it's for their own good and the good of their children after them. Okay, it's not just like he's like attention hungry and just, I just want all the attention on you. It's for our good. It's for our good and for our children's good. Focus isn't just about productivity. It's about blessing. When we fix our minds on God and direct our actions towards his purposes, our lives flourish and the next generation benefits too. Many believers want to do great things for God. They want to make an impact. They want to live as a 10x Christian, but they lack focus. Jesus warned that the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, and their desires for other things can choke the word in making it unfruitful. What's the antidote? Ask God to give you singleness of heart and action. Decide what matters the most to you and stop scattering your attention on what doesn't. Work on your character. Invest in people. Lay up treasure in heaven. That's the kind of focus that changes eternity. That's the kind of focus that a 10x Christian has. Focuses and he gets things done for God. Thanks for listening. Here's how you can help support the program. First of all, sign up for my weekly newsletter. The link is on the show notes. Secondly, read and review my latest book, The 10x Christian. I'm doing this program because I want you to be a 10x Christian. You can find it on my website at rodskinner.com, or else you can go directly to amazon.com and buy a copy. And when you read it, please review it. Let me know what you think. Because my goal is to inspire you to live a no regrets life, make this life count, and multiply disciples, leaders, and churches. Have a great day and make this life count.